When an idea emerges from the East and sets in the West, crossing time zones and uniting cultures, then it becomes more than an idea truly made for more. In the beginning, we had a dream. We ventured beyond the seas and charted our course to the most populous country in Black Africa. Everyone else saw differently, but we saw something much more. We saw their spirit, their will to endure and survive against all odds. We saw their joy, despite the chaos, and the fire of hope that propels dreams. A people destined for bigger things. We saw a cultural partnership that would breed opportunities and break the limits of physics and kinetics. One that would forge a relationship with man and machine beyond what is currently known. A partnership that would breed revolution. The merger of the efficiency and ethos of productivity of Asia's finest, coupled with the will and dynamism of Africa's leading economy, can only but birth greatness. Let every roar of its engines be a call, an awakening, a heralding. We saw their creativity and resourcefulness, their music and art that makes the world dance, and we celebrated their exceptionality as a people. Indeed, we saw a people made for more.
Nestle Nigeria plc is one of the largest food and beverage companies in Africa. Good Food, Good Life company committed to unlocking the power of food to enhance quality of life for everyone today and for generations to come. We ensure the enhancement and protection of our environment, our planet, and natural resources across our processes and sites. We have nourished Nigeria for over 59 years with trusted and loved high-quality brands including Maggi, Milo, Golden Morn, Nescafe, and Pure Life. Working alongside stakeholders and partners to generate significant value for our shareholders and stakeholders across our value chain. We are Nestle, the Good Food, Good Life company.
When we started flying 7 years ago, we already knew how we wanted to fly in the future.
We looked into every detail to make our E2E195 the coolest aircraft possible.
These are brand new airplanes, straight out of the factory, straight into Air Peace.
This is a representation of what we can do.
When you get a new aircraft into your fleet, into your company, and it's a first, this generates a level of excitement.
The care and attention to detail of our design team has resulted in a cabin environment that is sophisticated and contemporary, and we were very deliberate in making sure that the design language we used throughout our E195 was consistent from business class to economic class.
For us at Embraer, this is so special, as these E2s are the first ones to fly on the African continent.
This will definitely be a game changer for aviation in Nigeria. The passengers are going to have a wonderful experience in the cabin, and it's going to change the industry and raise the bar for everybody.
This is flying reimagined.
It's for Nigerians. It's for Africa. We are so proud and we cannot wait to give this aircraft to you.
Let's connect you to the people that matter most on board our brand new E2195.
Let's take you home.
You're welcome on board.
Air Peace, your peace, our goal.
From the East and sets in the West, crossing time zones and uniting cultures, then it becomes more than an idea truly made for more. In the beginning, we had a dream. We ventured beyond the seas and charted our course to the most populous country in Black Africa. Everyone else saw differently, but we saw something much more. We saw their spirit, their will to endure and survive against all odds. We saw their joy, despite the chaos, and the fire of hope that propels dreams. A people destined for bigger things. We saw a cultural partnership that would breed opportunities and break the limits of physics and kinetics. One that would forge a relationship with man and machine beyond what is currently known. A partnership that would breed revolution. The merger of the efficiency and ethos of productivity of Asia's finest, coupled with the will and dynamism of Africa's leading economy, can only but birth greatness. Let every roar of its engines be a call, an awakening, a heralding. We saw their creativity and resourcefulness, their music and art that makes the world dance, and we celebrated their exceptionality as a people. Indeed, we saw a people made for more.
For over 6 decades, Bank of Industry has been here, driving Nigeria's industrial development through financial and business support services to micro enterprises, small and medium enterprises, and large enterprises across Nigeria. Leveraging on strategic partnerships, we provide equipment financing, working capital, and support to enterprises in key sectors of Nigeria's economy, including youth and women-led enterprises. Whatever your business needs, starting up, expansion, diversification, modernization, or rehabilitation, we'll be here always to support you. Bank of Industry, transforming Nigeria's industrial sector.
Nestle Nigeria PLC is one of the largest food and beverage companies in Africa. Good Food, Good Life company committed to unlocking the power of food to enhance quality of life for everyone today and for generations to come. We ensure the enhancement and protection of our environment, our planet, and natural resources across our processes and sites. We have nourished Nigeria for over 59 years with trusted and loved high-quality brands including Maggi, Milo, Golden Morn, Nescafe, and Pure Life. Working alongside stakeholders and partners to generate significant value for our shareholders and stakeholders across our value chain. We are Nestle, the Good Food, Good Life company.
One of us must have a last say. Words like dagger, we try to hurt each other.
The special guest of honor at this wonderful event, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, ably represented here by the Executive Director, NAPC, Mr. Olusegun. Representative of the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, ably represented by the Group MD of the Abuja Investment Company. I beg your pardon, Alaji. Once again, we thank you for still being with us. Distinguished members of the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, other important dignitaries, I would like to say welcome again. Thank you for being with us. I would like to request that we kindly stand as we take the national the national anthem. One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one. Thank you. In view of the fact that we started slightly behind schedule, I would like to quickly move to the next item by inviting the chief host, the host of this evening event, the president of the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, Engineer Mansour Ahmed, to take the welcome.
The Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, here represented by my friend, his friend, I'll explain why, Mr. Shogun Awolo. I'm his running mate because I think in Nigeria today we are the only two ambassadors on the intra-African trade fair, which is, of course, a major event intended to promote export. And since he is the lead champion of exporters in Nigeria, then I must serve as his running mate. I'm not sure how far we can go together, but certainly in the export environment, we are determined to win. The Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, represented here again by my friend Abubakar Sani Pai, the Group Managing Director of Abuja Investment Company Limited, members of the Council of the Manufacturer Association here present, other senior executives of the various MDAs of the federal government here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and gentlemen of the press. On behalf of the Council and members of the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, I am indeed delighted to welcome you again here this afternoon to this very high-profile interactive session with the Director General of the World Trade Organization, our Dr. Ngozi-Iweala, being part of the activities set to mark the 49th Annual General Meeting of the Association and indeed the 50th anniversary of our association. The Honorable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on the 7th of May this year, the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria turned 50 years. To celebrate this golden jubilee, the National Council took a decision to schedule a series of fora and activities aimed to review the progress of our country's manufacturing industrialization process over the past 2 years, over the past 50 years, and perhaps more importantly, to reflect on and share insights with all stakeholders on the future of our industrial our industry, and indeed our economy. On the 2nd of September, we convened a high-level roundtable on industrialization in Africa, in which eminent thought leaders in Nigeria and across Africa deliberated on the past trajectory of the manufacturing sector, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa, and also the challenges that it faces, the opportunities that are and have been there, and indeed, therefore, what we need to have to do to achieve our goal of a strong, virile manufacturing industry and a strong, inclusively prosperous economy. On the 7th of October, we had the privilege of hosting Mrs. Amina Mohammed, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, on the nexus between industrialization and sustainable development. And that conversation set the tone for a deeper reflection on the industry and indeed the trajectory we must follow if we are to achieve the desired goal of our dreams for our country and indeed our continent. Earlier today, at the first annual Adeola Odutola lecture, our esteemed compatriot, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, presented a thought-provoking lecture on Nigeria and Africa's pathways to attaining the 2063 agenda, the Africa we want. It was clear from his eloquent presentation, and many of you were present at that lecture. It was clear from that presentation that the path to the future lies on industrialization and trade, not only at the domestic level, but at the regional level, at the continent level, and indeed at the global level. Unless we can indeed industrialize our economy and be able to trade and compete across these various frontiers, the chances of our being able to attain our goal and indeed achieve our potential will unfortunately elude us. This evening, we have the opportunity, the rare opportunity, to listen to insights from one person whose views on how these goals can be achieved cannot be faulted. It is my great pleasure to warmly welcome and our distinguished guest speaker this evening, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, our very own Dr. Ngozi-Iweala. Dr. Iweala needs no introduction in this gathering, or indeed in any other gathering in Africa or across the world. I will therefore not bother to embark on any long introduction of her achievements and her attainments. But let me say at this stage that the latest of the laurels that she has acquired is her listing or nomination or her recognition as one of the 100 most influential persons in the world by the influential Time magazine. Madam, let me, on behalf of our association and our industry, and I believe on behalf of all my compatriots here, congratulate you for this singular achievement and wish you well and continued success in your undertakings. In closing this remark, let me also recognize and welcome all our guests, particularly our public sector partners, and I've already identified one, all the ministries, departments, and agencies of government here gathered and elsewhere must indeed be partners to the effort to drive Nigerian industrialization, to drive Nigerian economic growth and development, to achieve the goal that Nigeria rightly deserves to achieve as one of the strongest economies, the strongest countries across the world in not the too distant future. In my view, 2063 may even be a bit too far. But it is a goal I believe we must collaborate and cooperate and partner and engage each other in order to achieve. Finally, let me welcome our media partners and thank you all for your support. Let me therefore pause here to listen to the lecture that I believe will point to the direction for our economy, for our nation, and for our citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President, for setting the tone for the presentation and discussion this evening. As we invite the Director General of WTO, Dr. Ngozi-Iweala, to take the mic, make our presentation.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, ma'am.
But it's one of, and I'm sorry I cannot be there with you. It would have been so nice if I could join you. But unfortunately, it has not been possible due to my duties here and a couple of emergencies I had today. But let me say I'm truly honored to be with you today. I want to thank all of you for inviting me, and in particular, the Director General of the Manufacturers Association, Shegun Ajayi. And I also want to thank my sister, Mrs. Ekamapan. I'm sure you don't know how she has persisted in trying to get me to be with you today. So we owe a lot to her for being able to do this. You know, I always come away inspired when I spend time with Nigerian industry. I find inspiration in your diversity, your entrepreneurial energy, and the innovative spirit. Even when things are difficult, under very difficult circumstances, we somehow, in Nigeria, both industry and the man and woman in the street, we find a way to keep going on. So I just want to thank you for your spirit of entrepreneurship and for what you're doing to help our economy to move along. But I will tell you that today, I'm also going to challenge you. Maybe this will come at the end of my speech. Any discussion, you've asked me to speak on the role of trade in a post-pandemic recovery in Africa. And any discussion on Africa's post-pandemic recovery must be situated in the broader context. Much of the continent's population today remains unvaccinated. Less than 5% of Africans are fully vaccinated compared to over 60% in developed countries. Unequal vaccine access and poor fiscal capacity has led to a K-shaped global economic recovery, with advanced and some emerging economies surging ahead because they have access to vaccines and they have very strong fiscal capacity, which they've used to revive their economies, and they've also had accommodative monetary policies. But those at the downward end of the K-shape, the regions of the world, Latin America, the Middle East, and Sub-Saharan Africa, lag behind because they don't have as much access to vaccines, and the fiscal stimulus, especially in Sub-Saharan Africa, that they've been able to give has been much, much less due to limited fiscal space. So projected growth in sub-Saharan Africa, 3.7% for 2021, according to the IMF's latest projection, lags behind the 5.9% global average. Debt dynamics on the continent are worsening, with debt ratios climbing from an average of 33.4% in 2015 to over 50% in 2021. In the absence of concerted international action on debt sustainability, this will weigh on future public investment in health, education, and infrastructure as more and more fiscal revenues go into debt service. The pattern for trade is also marked by divergence, with Africa recovering more slowly than other regions, just as we talked about for output. Africa's share of global trade dipped to 2.5% last year, and the trends are not favorable. Our economists project that between 2019 and the end of 2022, Asia's exports would have grown 18.8%, and North America and Europe by around 8%, compared to 4.8% for South America, 2.9% for the Middle East, and 1.9% for Africa. So you can see that this pattern with regard to trade also mirrors the pattern almost completely for the growth of output. We need to reverse our presence on the downward path of this K-shaped recovery and use the recovery from the crisis to increase Africa's share of global trade. I'm not emphasizing trade just because I'm a DG of the World Trade Organization. The fact is that trade has a critical role to play in getting our economy and African economies in general onto a sustainable upward path. Trade is essential for ending the vaccine inequity I talked about, and trade can be the bridge in the K-shaped recovery, helping all economies converge upwards. Let me look at both of these in turn. Trade is essential to produce and distribute the COVID-19 vaccines we need. These vaccines rely on inputs from multiple countries, 19 countries for the Pfizer-BioNTech and Moderna vaccines, and around 15 countries for AstraZeneca, to take two examples. And they must get into people's arms in every country in the world. That's why the WTO has been working hard with vaccine manufacturers and other stakeholders to help them identify supply chain bottlenecks that could deter investment in additional production. Our secretariat here continues to monitor export restrictions and trade facilitating measures. Together with my counterparts from the World Health Organization, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, we are pushing to mobilize financing for vaccine production and working with COVAX and the African Vaccine Acquisition Trust to encourage those sharing delivery schedules for, so that most of our countries can access the vaccines sooner. One focus of the WTO's vaccine work has been to encourage investment in increased production in Africa. The experience with the pandemic has made it painfully clear that it is not tenable for the continent to depend on imports for 99% of vaccines and 90% of its pharmaceuticals. Moreover, overly concentrated vaccine production, 80% of the production of exports is from 10 countries in Europe, North America, and Asia, which means a great deal of concentration. And we have seen that such concentrated production doesn't work. And that's why we spend a great deal of time at the WTO trying to work with manufacturers to encourage them to invest in emerging markets and developing countries, including on our own continent. Why am I talking about vaccines so much? Because I really feel and know all the evidence and data shows that it's a prerequisite for a return to the sustained growth and job creation. And as I've said, trade has a strong role to play in making this happen. But trade also has a wider role to play in the global economic recovery. Poor countries need access to bigger markets to grow rapidly. with trade projected to grow at 10.8% this year, more than twice as fast as GDP. External demand will far outpace domestic demand for many countries, especially those on the wrong end of the K-shaped recovery. For manufacturers, trade is also important, of course, on the import side, since it means better access to inputs as well as competitive logistics and other services critical to international competitiveness. I know that at the current moment, these inputs probably look less attractive because of difficulties with access to the dollar in the case of Nigeria and with the supply chain snafus that we see internationally. Nevertheless, we expect the current problems in the global supply chain, which are mostly the result of a mismatch between supply and demand, to be transitory. Markets will hopefully look more normal in a few months. In my remaining time, I want to focus on two issues at the heart of using trade to drive a stronger, more inclusive post-pandemic recovery in Nigeria and across Africa. The first is the importance of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, or MISMEs, as we call them in the trade lingo, and the importance of connecting MISMEs to regional and global value chains. The second is the need to take full advantage of current market dynamics, notably vis-à-vis commodity prices, and of the ambitious regional economic integration initiative that is the African Continental Free Trade Area. On micro, medium, and small enterprises, you're all familiar with the dynamism of African entrepreneurs, especially our Nigerian entrepreneurs. Indeed, many of you probably built up your enterprises from such beginnings. We need to do more to connect African business and to external demand so that they can sell more of their products, scale up, and become more productive. MISMEs matter because they employ the vast majority of the labor force, particularly women and young people, but they are underrepresented in cross-border trade. When they are able to tap into value chains, trade becomes more inclusive. Now, digital is very important here, especially for young Africans and the businesses they create. Many businesses have been able to weather the pandemic because they were able to access the internet and sell online. We should work harder, first to understand the barriers facing micro, medium, and small enterprises in global trade, and then to lower these barriers. At the WTO, different groups of members are seeking to do just that. One group is working on an e-commerce agreement. Another is working on empowering business, micro, medium, and small enterprises to trade. And a third is working on lowering barriers facing women in global economic trade. I'm proud to say that Nigeria is part of all of these new initiatives and negotiations that are ongoing here at the WTO, which we hope will ultimately make it easier for our micro, medium, and small enterprises and our women entrepreneurs to take advantage of national, regional, and global value chains. There is also an important role for supply-side work to help businesses upgrade the quality of their goods and services and break into these international value chains. Agencies affiliated with the WTO, the International Trade Center, which is an offspring of the WTO, the Enhanced Integrated Framework, another branch of the WTO, and the Standards and Trade Development Facility, yet another branch, are engaged in important work in this regard. This includes projects in Nigeria, as I was able to witness earlier this year with shea butter producers from Oyo State, who had sharply increased their earnings after obtaining international safety certification that opened the door for them to markets in the US, the UK, Europe, and the Middle East, and South Africa, many of which had been previously close to them. Turning to the recent uptick in energy and mineral prices, this will provide higher revenue for commodity exporters, though it will present challenges for other countries in Africa. We hope that these revenues will be used to tackle some of the logistical and infrastructural challenges which bedevil manufacturing on the continent and which have come sharply into relief during this pandemic crisis that we've had. But whilst But whilst the recent uptick in commodity prices presents revenue-enhancing opportunities for exporters, let me say that trade would be further enhanced on the continent if African commodity producers would work to add more value to their exports. This brings me to the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is a key locomotive for our economic future. When African countries trade with each other, the goods they exchange have more value added than the goods they send to the rest of the world. This is the good news. In 2014, according to the UN Economic Commission for Africa, manufactured goods made up 42% of intra-Africa exports, but less than 15% of the continent's external exports. So when we trade with each other, we tend to add more value to our goods. At the same time, however, Africa trades much less with itself than other regions. Intra-regional trade as a percentage of total trade is only 15% in Africa, compared to 60% in Asia, 60%, and 67% in Europe, just to give a few examples. So we need to reverse this. We need to trade more with each other, because if we can trade more with each other and increase that percentage, we can actually create more wealth and create more jobs, since we tend to send more value-added products to each other in the continent. The prospect of a unified market of 1.3 billion people offers enormous opportunities for Nigerian businesses that service now a whole market of 211 million people. The large continental market makes investment more attractive in our country. For sure, there are many hurdles to overcome. To use the AFCFTA adequately and properly. And I know that there was a lot of hesitation on the part of industry. I know that these hurdles on logistical, bureaucratic, and regulatory grounds to make capture of the large market that is within the continent a reality. But I'm confident that the right moment has come for regional trade to take place, and this will propel solutions to these logistical and infrastructural challenges that I set out. Just as I said earlier, knowing that the pandemic has exposed how dependent Africa is.
Every MANEC president, I see Dafinoni also here. And we have worked together throughout the years to try and raise our exports. And I must say, MAN Group has been an excellent partner to try and drive manufacturing and indeed industry in this great country. So I'm so happy to be amongst you, Engineer Maso. I thank you very much. My DG, thank you very much for this support. Let me read the Honorable Minister's speech. I was with him last night because he had to follow Mr. President to Saudi Arabia. At first, he thought maybe he will not be able to make it. He got his visa almost at 10 p.m. Before he could get on a flight. So he told me that you have to go and represent me with your friends because he knows of our relationship. So permit me to read the speech of the Honorable Minister. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is both a pleasure and honor for me to have been invited as chairman of this prestigious occasion, an evening with Dr. Ngozi-Iweala. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala is a person for whom I have the utmost respect and admiration. She's someone that to me is the epitome of what discipline, courage, and dedication can achieve. I commend the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, their National Council, the patrons, the Director General, and committee members for making Dr. Okonjo-Iweala the guest of honor as we celebrate the association's 50th anniversary. 50 years of persistent efforts in striving towards delivering man goals. It is from their valiant efforts that my ministry and man have been able to hone a strong working relationship that has resulted into partnerships and joint advocacy to advance important trade and investment issues. Man has worked diligently to become a powerful voice that both government and the private sector take seriously. They have aggressively championed the rights of Nigerian manufacturers through constructive engagement with stakeholders. Man's advocacy has positively influenced policy formation and implementation to the betterment of the sector. They have also stringently ensured that products manufactured by their members are of the highest quality. I think that deserves a round of applause. Man has supported manufacturers through very tough times. The association began at a time when Nigeria was rebuilding after the Civil War. They had to remain resilient during the economic crash of the late 1970s and early 1980s. They had to remain resilient for over 50 years. 50 years is no easy feat, and I commend not just the current administration, but all the women and men that have played a part in ensuring the association's success throughout its long history. The outlook for the manufacturing sector today is extremely positive. Man has done a lot to support Nigeria's drive to diversify the economy and encourage real sector transformation. Nigeria's manufacturing sector recorded real GDP growth of 3.49% in the second quarter of 2021. This is a massive improvement on the decline of 8.78% recorded in quarter 2 of 2020. The year 2020 was challenging for all economies, but Nigeria is coming back strong. In the first half of this year, investment announcements were at $10.1 billion, an increase of 100% on 2020. Investors from Europe, China, Morocco, and the UK are making strong commitments, and this administration is working tirelessly to ensure that these commitments turn into projects that positively affect our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to reiterate my ministry's commitment to the strategic relationship that exists with man and to continued partnership towards our collective objectives. Our relationship has become even more important since the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. The manufacturing sector is pivotal to Nigeria succeeding in a post-after Africa. The African Continental Free Trade Area will enhance Nigeria's capacity to unlock growth and create jobs by building our industrial capacity, enlarging our productivity, and making us more competitive globally. But only if our manufacturing remains strong. I'm extremely proud of the role man has played in the development of Nigerian business environment. And it is my wish that the next 50 years will bring even greater success and prosperity. Nigerians are intelligent and resourceful people, and I see no reason why we cannot utilize our resources to be the biggest manufacturing hub in not just Africa, but the world. This may sound like a lofty ambition, but as our population grows and technology develops, it is within our grasp. I wholeheartedly congratulate the association on their Golden Jubilee of delivering excellence to the manufacturing sector and by extension to our great nation. I would like to congratulate Dr. Ngozi-Iweala once again on the work she's doing as Director General of the World Trade Organization. It is great to see you succeed, and as a country, Nigeria remains extremely proud of you. I thank you all very much. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the men and women behind man's success. Otumba Niyi Adebayo, CON, Honorable Minister. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for the Honorable Minister. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. To take the next task on the agenda, I would like to invite the Director General of Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, Mr. Segun Ajayi Kadri, MNI, to take the vote of thanks. Let's appreciate him as he walks to the microphone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My assignment this evening is simple, but very sensitive for two reasons. One, its simplicity often comes seamlessly in a manner that always makes it to seem as given. Two, its sensitivity speaks to the fact that it is often laden with deeper sense of gratitude that provokes inner feeling of appreciation when expressed and the sense of being taken for granted when omitted. Little wonder, Gilbert Chesterton affirmed that when it comes to life, the critical thing is whether you take things for granted or take them with gratitude. It is our practice to always show gratitude and not take things for granted. So, on behalf of the President, the National Council, and members of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, I use this opportunity to express our deep appreciation to our distinguished guests at this event, our own Dr. Ngozi-Iweala, the Director General, World Trade Organization. Ma, you are a source of pride to Nigeria and Africa. You represent what good can come out of Africa and what good we can give to the world. So we thank you most sincerely for joining us today. Your presence, thought-provoking presentations, and valuable recommendations have added color to this event. We will certainly be taking them aboard as we embark on the journey of resetting the manufacturing sector in Nigeria for gainful trade under the AFCFTA. Our sincere appreciation also goes to our special guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade, and Investment, Otumba Niyi Adebayo, ably represented by a valuable partner and friend of man, the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, my dear brother, Mr. Segun Awolowo. You have attended all activities lined up for the celebration of our 50th anniversary and our 49th AGM. We remain indebted to you and wish you well always. Let me also recognize and thank our chief host and friend, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, ably represented by the Group Managing Director of Abuja Investment Company, Alhaji Abubakar Sani Pai. Thank you, sirs, for honoring us with your esteemed presence. To the ever-supportive members of our great association, development partners, and of course our friends from the media, as well as those who joined us virtually, I thank you all most sincerely for your participation and contribution in making this event a successful and memorable one. This is a clear confirmation that you are committed to manufacturing and you are true friends of our association and you are our partners. To my colleagues who continue to work tirelessly to achieve a 3-day of excellence, please keep the spirit high. The man of the future is here. Your Excellencies, our invited guests, our distinguished sponsors who have given us the wherewithal to make this place so beautiful and so convenient for us. We thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, every ending is a beginning. As we end this very important session today, I know that together we are beginning a new journey towards resetting the manufacturing landscape of our great country, Nigeria. I thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful evening and remain blessed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Director General Manufacturer Association of Nigeria. We are gradually coming to the end of the program. And but before I take the last item on the agenda, I would like to respectfully recognize the representative of the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, CON, in person of Dr. Michael Adebiyi, Director of Research. If you're at the house, please just wave your hands. Oh, all right, thank you. The next item that we'll be looking at quickly as we draw the curtain of this event, we'll be taking the national anthem. Thereafter, we'll take a photo session, first with our distinguished guest dignitaries at this event. Immediately after that, all the past presidents of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and members of the National Council will thereafter join in the photo session. And after that, we will be seated to be treated to a sumptuous dinner. Perceiving the aroma already, you don't need to worry. Our professional ushers are already going around the table to ensure that we are well treated to that. So on that note, I would like to please request that we rise on our feet as we take the national anthem. The national anthem, please. Thank you. So, dignitaries, can you please step forward for the photo session? our past president. Can you please also join them? Our major sponsors, you can also join. Council members, national council members of the association, could you please also join? Thank you. So, yeah, thank you, sir. Bon appetit.
Thank you, sir. Our dear ushers are going round and they are taking your orders. If you check on your table, there is a menu and they will attend to you. For very particular reasons, there are some products that are very well made in Nigeria and others that cannot go with themselves, like mixing rice and something from another terrain. So the first 6 are Nigerian, the next 5 are Chinese, and the last 5 are your side dishes. So you can pick your mix so that it can be well blended. Bon appetit.